All right, my reaction to Tim Tszyu's win last night in Sydney against Anthony Velazquez. Straight to the point, I thought Tim Tszyu's jab much improved or back to how it was. If you watched Tim Tszyu 5-6 years ago, everything was off a good jab. I thought his jab and his ring IQ was back to the Tim Tszyu that we all know. I thought he started the fight maybe a little bit tentative, maybe a little bit too cautious. He would have been wary of Velazquez's power. I thought in those mid-rounds, he looked great. Everything off the jab. He was dusting up Velazquez. Velazquez felt some body shots. He didn't want a bar of it. He got on his bike. When the fighter starts moving around and, they don't want to engage, it's hard to get them out of there. I thought if Velazquez stood in the pocket, Tim's reactions and counters were way quicker and he would have dusted him up. But when they move around, it's hard. But there were some rounds in the mid to late rounds where Tim sort of, plotted around the ring and sort of, Velazquez was moving. Tim was sort of following him a bit. There is some criticism there that perhaps he could have got him out of there. I do see that. But he needed the rounds. He needed the time with Pedro Diaz. I thought that had a chance to speak to Pedro after the fight. He was happy. Tim got on the jab. He stayed smart. He didn't engage in anything unnecessary. He got the win. And more importantly, he got the rounds. I mean, I thought the coverage, the criticism, particularly from Michael Zarafa, of Tim Tszyu's performance, I mean, yeah, you can criticise perhaps, Velazquez isn't a ranked guy and Tim should be disposing of these guys. I get that. But, Michael's performance against Creati, Bazir, even Tommy Brown in those 2 rounds, there's no difference there. Even Liam Paro versus Papo up in Brisbane, similar sort of level fights to Tim last night, and I thought Tim, he come out unscathed, didn't have a blemish on him, and Velazquez was all dusted up. So fighters are entitled to analyse performances as they've been in the ring, and full respect to Michael, of course. But I thought it was a little bit reaching. I don't think Tim's performance was bad in any way, and I think he needed the rounds. So I think it was the perfect fight for Tim Tszyu to bounce back and start that rebuild, which will take time. They are talking about Xander Zayas at some point. I reckon that's a winnable fight for Tim Tszyu, because if you look at Zayas' path towards the title, it was much weaker than Tim Tszyu's path. You still look at 154, Tim Tszyu's fought Bakram Fondora, Mendoza, Harrison, Dennis Hogan, Terrell Gachet, these sort of guys, and particularly Fondora and Bakram, Mendoza, who beat Fondora, Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, Xander Zayas, they haven't fought Bakram and they haven't fought Fondora. So until they do, we don't know where Tim Tszyu's at. So I think reaching for the winner of Zayas versus Baru is the perfect game plan for Tim Tszyu, but I think he needs probably 1 or 2 more Velazquez's just to work on some things with Pedro Diaz, so we can sort of see some real sort of differences between the old Tim Tszyu and the new Tim Tszyu. So all in all, great night of fights by No Limit Boxing. It's what Tim Tszyu needed. Is he open to some criticism? Yes. Was the performance perfect? No, but it was a very good start. Good jab, and good sign for things to come. And I think his ring IQ and his composure and willingness not to engage in a firefight was what we need to see from Tim Tszyu moving forward. Because if you follow Tim Tszyu from back in the day, you'd know that that's the best Tim Tszyu fights that way. For me, that's 2025 done. I hope you enjoyed the coverage throughout the year. I'm going to Japan today, so a week in Japan and then Christmas. But we'll see you all again next year. Nikita Tszyu, Michael Zarafa.